smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
Going to double down on crime, criminalizing juveniles in D.C., which means we're going to see more laws, fewer like diversion programs, and more actual like incarceration. And then around the world, we're seeing violence everywhere, including Gaza, where I work for Al Jazeera. My colleagues, every colleague I have in Gaza has been murdered. Every single colleague I have in Gaza has been murdered. So we got a lot of work to do, and a lot of stuff to pay attention to.
That's pretty good.
All right, Young Thug dissed. I get scared every time he do that shit.
He doing so fast. So you gotta.
Everybody know in Gaza is like,
Oh my colleague.
God damn, he doing it again. That nigga Mark, boy. Why you don't never support him when he start talking that shit? You support him very well, Pizza Hut.
He has my full support, but I also know that once he says something like that, or we discuss something like that, then we're just like, okay, what's the fucking pivot? What's the pivot after we talk about every journalist on the Gaza Strip being murdered? Like, what's the pivot?
So Young Thug
there we go.
appeared on Little Baby's project.
What's going on, y'all? We are back with the files. Now listen, Joe Budden cut Marc Lamont Hill off the moment he started going into a deep political conversation. And not just any political conversation. Mark was highlighting something heavy, something personal. He told the room that all his colleagues from Al Jazeera had been murdered. Let that sink in. People he knew, people he worked with, all gone, okay? Joe Budden ain't offered no condolences. Neither did anyone else on that other couch or other couches or chairs. Nobody said anything, okay? Just imagine if, like, they was doing that. That would have been foul. Right? Instead, Joe admitted he doesn't really like talking about topics like that because, in his own words that he told me on the spaces, I need to sleep at night, Dub, right? Okay. So instead of unpacking Mark's pain, instead of digging into the danger journalists face around the world, Joe laughed it off and pivoted to talking about Young Thug. Okay? Imagine sitting in front of someone who just told you people they loved were killed, and your next move is to change the topic to rap beef and album talk. All right? And check this out. It gets deeper. This could be exactly why those lawyers Mark met at Martha's Vineyard thought he shouldn't be on the Joe Budden podcast, like I mentioned in my other video. Okay? They felt his presence didn't fit the platform. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I agree with them. I don't. But moments like this make people think. Okay? I'm not here to give you watered down narratives or social media gossip dressed up as facts. No, I'm giving you the real files. I'm not going to come back next week with a half-hearted apology talking about I rushed it. Nah, we got the files here, and I appreciate y'all for being here with me in the file cabinet. I really do appreciate y'all listening. All right? I ain't gonna be doing all of that funny stuff with the videos. All right? Now, Joe Budden should have handled that differently. He said he didn't know where to pivot. But come on. There are so many different directions that conversation could have gone. And here's something else, okay? Joe even tweeted today saying, if y'all keep it up, I might try y'all and see how much people respond to a political segment. So maybe the audience should keep pushing him until he blends in more meaningful conversations. Because the truth is, the Joe Budden podcast could talk about things like inflation, billions being printed for AI, the fact that black people are locked out of investing in certain companies, okay? And that point right there that I just said, I'm repeating from Ian Dunlap, something powerful he told Joe Budden over the phone, which Joe also dismissed.
That this shit is even happening.
Indeed, I agree with that.
Oh, you want to talk?
Get some good diplomatic answers.
Inflation is through the roof. Billions are being printed in AI. None of us own none of the AI company. I've been trying to get into some of these companies to invest in. We are not allowed in. But this is the commentary line. And the other part of it too, some of the money dried up.
Okay? Ian Dunlap made it clear. The reason we're not further along as a culture is moments like this. When someone with a massive platform like Joe chooses to focus on petty internet beef, okay? Joe called him to find out why EYL, Aristotle, and Wall Street Trapper are allegedly beefing online instead of highlighting solutions and progress. All right? Now, here's my take. The Joe Budden Network could easily launch a new show with Marc Lamont Hill and Ian Dunlap, not Ian the manager, okay? I'm talking about Ian Dunlap, the master investor. Let them have deep, solution-focused conversations about the Black community and economic change. That doesn't even have to mix with the usual messy, entertainment-heavy podcast topics. Just feed the streets with something real. And remember, my people in the file cabinet, you heard it here first, all right? So if they come up with that segment, say, yo, Dub did that, put Dub on the producer credits, you feel me? We can't forget about who said that. You know what I'm saying? We don't play. We from Queens. We don't play that though. All right. Because also, I just want to point this out. This isn't about tearing anyone down. It's about pushing for progression. Okay? It's about giving the people a new segment. Because with Marc Lamont Hill sitting there, the audience is asking for it. Joe Budden has the chance to focus on a much broader spectrum than just celebrity drama and messy headlines. Now, let me ask you guys some questions. Do you think Joe Budden intentionally avoids deep political conversations because it makes him uncomfortable? Or is it because he doesn't want to risk losing a certain audience? If Marc Lamont Hill and Ian Dunlap had their own show on the Joe Budden Network, would you guys watch it? Let me know in the comments because they're watching, all right? Should a platform as big as the JBP have a responsibility to tackle serious topics alongside entertainment? And was Joe Budden wrong for pivoting away from Mark's story so quickly, or was he just trying to keep the tone of the show light? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll be back with the files. All right, y'all.
Who the fuck has a problem with Dub?
Yeah,
Dub
how
didn't do
long is it?
nothing to nobody. Dub ain't do nothing but drop that interview and shake the streets up. All
That
Dub
interview with
did was
Iman